I'm going to show you how to avoid all the keto side effects, okay, in this one simple video. There's many things that happen, but can be prevented if you know what to do. In the Healthy Keto program that I have, which I'm going to put a link down below, which will explain everything, if you do the correct eating plan from the very beginning, you shouldn't have any of these side effects. It's when people try to do sort of keto and they don't do it correctly that they end up having issues. Let's start at the top here, brain fog. That can be a deficiency of B vitamins, especially vitamin B1, and also ketones. In the transition phase, when you're starting keto, it takes like 3 days, and sometimes there's this transition period where your brain doesn't have enough fuel. It can't generate the ketones as fast enough, and so you might want to increase your ketones by taking MCT oil, okay? And that can give you the ketones right away, and the brain fog goes completely bye-bye. Now, also, nutritional yeast can also help. All right, uric acid, okay, that's involved in gout. When you start fasting, certain people start having higher levels of uric acid. Uric acid is an antioxidant, so it's trying to help you, but if you're prone to gout, you could notice pain in your big toe, okay? So a simple solution is to take a green drink, like wheatgrass juice powder, in your water, which will alkalize you and alter the pH to the point where your immune system doesn't have to create this inflammatory reaction anymore. Really simple solution. You can also do potassium citrate, that works, but a green drink also works like magic. All right, next one is high cholesterol. I've done a separate video on this, but just so you know, this might mean that you need some more bile salt, some more help with the gallbladder to help to break down this cholesterol. But normally, it's not a problem. All right, kidney stone. If you're prone to kidney stone, the most important thing to do is to drink no less than 2.5 liters of fluid a day. That will keep things diluted. You won't be able to form a stone because kidney stones are a super saturated situation. Okay, so if you drink enough fluid, you just can't form stones anymore. Also, potassium citrate is really good because, first of all, potassium is a protective to the kidney and it actually helps decrease the risk of kidney stones. And the citrate also binds with oxalates, which are the most common form of kidney stones, calcium oxalates. So the citrate will kind of prevent that. And also, from your diet, you want to make sure you're not consuming foods high in oxalates. That would be almond and almond flour and almond butter, spinach, chocolate, which are all common foods on keto. There's a lot more data to know about this. Watch my videos if you're interested. Okay, digestive problems. If you get constipation or diarrhea that's new for you, you start the keto program, all of a sudden you become constipated or diarrhea, most likely you need to adjust the vegetables. You're either not having enough or you're consuming too many. So it's just a matter of comparing what you did before to now, and if you're eating a ton of vegetables, it could mean that you need to cut it down because your microbes in your gut can't digest and deal with all that fiber. Or it could mean that you need to increase the amount of vegetables. So just make some adjustments and that should help. Now, if you get bloating, typically it means you're lacking bile. Now that could come for many reasons. Maybe you don't have a gallbladder, maybe your liver is fatty, maybe you're just sluggish, but more bile will help bloating. Now, if you get abdominal pain, that usually is lectins. Lectins are in vegetables, they're in beans, they're in peanuts, they're in a lot of different foods. And so you may even need to cut out your vegetables for a while and go carnivore just to get rid of that pain because you might have leaky gut or some inflammatory situation that now you're sensitive to plants. So that's one point. And then also if you have acid reflux, that just means you need more acidifiers. So betaine hydrochloride is a good one. Apple cider vinegar is another good thing you can take that will actually help keep that valve nice and closed. Sometimes you need more B1 to help close the valve. On an occasion, if you have like an ulcer, which is not a side effect of gout, but if you have an ulcer, zinc is probably one of the best remedies for that. Let's say you start getting acne. That usually is because you're sensitive to dairy. I would just avoid the dairy and your skin should clear up. Also, dairy can enlarge either a fibroid in women or in men can enlarge the prostate. So if you are a guy and have prostate issues or urination problems, you might need to cut out the dairy for a bit. Okay, muscle cramps or heart palpitations. Same remedy. You need electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, and sea salt. All right, next one, you're irritable or you have headaches. You need vitamin B1. Nutritional yeast is wonderful. It should make you feel nice and calm within about 3 minutes. Now, if you have gallbladder pain, pain underneath the right rib cage that can refer to the right shoulder up through here or the back, that usually means that you need to cut down the nuts and especially peanut butter. Why? Because most nuts are high in omega-6, which is inflammatory. And plus, there are certain type of enzyme inhibitors which make them difficult to digest. In peanuts, you have high levels of a certain toxin that comes from a fungus that can irritate the gallbladder and create a lot of issues. This is why you always want to do organic nuts and Valencia peanut or Valencia peanut butter. Very, very important. Because here's the thing. You might say, well, it doesn't matter if they spray these nuts because the shell is really, really hard, right? Like walnuts, it won't penetrate. But what happens is when they crack the shell open, they spray after it's open. So you want to do organic nuts. And that should help you, but I think cutting out nuts would be good, and you may need to cut out some of the extra oils that you're consuming that you might not have enough bile to actually digest some of that fat. So taking purified bile salts or a gallbladder formula, very helpful in this situation. But usually when you take out the nuts, problem solved. All right, bad breath. This is a temporary problem, usually because you're not offsetting the high level of ketones with something to neutralize that, like leafy greens, like large salads. Sometimes you're doing too much protein, so you want to make your protein moderate because too much protein can give off too much ammonia, and that can come off in the breath. A rash, keto rash, that is usually a B vitamin deficiency. Take nutritional yeast. It's usually vitamin B2 and B3 that's deficient. When you start burning more fat and you're running off your ketones, the metabolic pathways are slightly different and you need certain nutrients in higher levels. Definitely more B vitamins. Then we get to keto fatigue and keto flu. That is usually just upping the sea salt. Himalayan sea salt is the best. And or taking potassium in a good electrolyte powder. That should handle that. So sometimes if you have this blood pressure fluctuation that happens when you start keto, try increasing sea salt and then try decreasing, and one of them usually will handle it. And you might need to also add potassium with even some vitamin D, and that should handle it. Also, the low salt can trigger more adrenaline, which can then keep you up at night, and you can have insomnia, which leads us to this point right here. So you might need more sea salt if you're not sleeping, and sometimes a little calcium. A good source of calcium would be, of course, calcium citrate or lactate. Those are the two that I recommend. All right, there you go. Keto side effects in a nutshell. Hey, if you're liking this content, please subscribe now, and I will actually keep you updated on future videos.